What is going on, everybody? Today I'm going to be doing way too early predictions for the 12-team playoffs next season. And as of now, the format of the expanded 12-team playoffs is supposed to have the 6 highest ranked conference champions and then 6 at-large spots. This could be changed to the 5 highest ranked conference champions because there won't be a Power 5 anymore with the Pac-12 gone. But as of now, the format stands with the 6 highest ranked conference champions getting in, and the rest will be at-large spots, which means 2 more Group of 5 teams will be guaranteed to get in. But don't take these predictions too seriously because it's still way too early. But I wanted to do this video and I figured it would be a fun one. And I know my thumbnail wasn't perfect, but I tried my best on my thumbnail. And as you can see right now, you might be able to see the green question marks I tried covering up. But I really wanted to do this video, so here we are. But before I get into this video, let me remind everyone to like the video and subscribe to the channel. And also turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. And if you guys love college football, then you will love this channel because we post daily college football content. And we basically cover everything on this channel, so definitely consider subscribing. And I mean, the national championship is today, and we're already predicting who I think will win the national championship next year. So we basically do it all. But to start, I'm just going to be going through my top 12 in order. And like I said, I will have 2 Group of 5 conference champions in the playoffs, because that's just how the format is supposed to be as of now. But I really hope they change the format to where only 1 Group of 5 team gets in. But at the number 1 seed, I have Georgia, and I think they will win the SEC next year. They will have quarterback Carson Beck back, and they are going to want to get back on top after they lost to Alabama. And this Georgia team has a lot of talent returning, and they will be motivated after not making the playoffs this season. At number 2, I might get a lot of people disagreeing with me, but I actually think Ohio State gets the job done and wins the Big Ten and maintains the number 2 seed. They are still loaded with talent on that team, and Will Howard is an underrated pickup at quarterback for the Ohio State Buckeyes. And I do believe Michigan will fall off a bit next year with the possibility of losing head coach Jim Harbaugh. And they are also losing J.J. McCarthy and Blake Corum. And they haven't made a huge impact in recruiting or the transfer portal. And Ohio State may be due to have a good season and finally beat Michigan. But I could absolutely be wrong about that. But for number 3, I actually have Alabama. I don't have them winning their conference, but I do think they will get a first round bye, even after losing in the conference championship. And maybe they only have 1 loss to Georgia in the conference championship, but I don't know, it's very hard to predict. But I do have Alabama at number 3. But at 4 for the last team getting a bye week, I actually have another team that didn't win their conference. I have the Oregon Ducks getting in at number 4. And I know these are 2 non-conference champs in the top 4, but the Big Ten and the SEC will be stacked going forward, and losing a game or 2 will not hurt them too much. But I believe the Oregon Ducks will have a really good season next year, and they might only lose 1 or 2 games next season. But I don't have them winning the Big Ten. But this team is going to be really good next year, and I do have them at number 4. But for my number 5 team, I have the team who I believe will win the Big 12, which is the Arizona Wildcats. They are returning their number 1 quarterback, number 1 running back, and their number 1 receiver. And a lot of guys on defense are returning as well. And freshman quarterback Noah Fifita will put up numbers next season. Or should I say sophomore, because he will be a sophomore next season. They could possibly be lower, and we could see other Big Ten teams and SEC teams above them, but I think Arizona will win their conference with only 1 loss. And I'm not sure if that will be enough to get them the number 5 seed next year, but winning their conference basically locks them for the playoffs, but we'll have to wait and see. But for number 6, I actually have Clemson winning the ACC and getting the 6th seed. We've seen this team play really good football near the end of the year, and I think they will have a high caliber defense next year, and they will be a lot better. And I almost went with Florida State, but I think Florida State is losing too much talent and they will come up short. And I know this may be a bold take, but Clemson had 1 down year and I would assume that they would be better heading into next season. But for my number 7 seed, I actually have Ole Miss. And I really think this team can be one of the teams from the SEC to make the playoffs next season. And similar to Clemson, this is a bold take, but they have guys on offense returning. And their offense will be loaded next year with quarterback Jackson Dart returning. But they have picked up many guys that will help them out on the defensive side. One guy that stands out is 5-star defensive lineman Walter Nolan. And they also picked up a bunch of 4-star edge rushers and other defensive players. And this Ole Miss team will get even better next year, and I have them being the 3rd best team in the SEC. But I see a lot of potential for this team. And they proved that they can beat good teams when they beat Penn State and LSU this season. They just need to take that next step. And I think there's a possibility we see this team be even better next year. But for my number 8 seed, don't you worry, I still have Michigan making the 12-team playoffs. I just don't think they will be at the top of the Big Ten, and I think they will take a big hit next season. but they will still be good enough to make the 12-team playoffs, and they will only lose 2 to 3 games, and I have them making the 12-team playoffs. But for my number 9 seed, I have Texas. Texas is going to be very good next year, and I could have put them higher, but there's so many good teams. But I do think Texas, even as the 9 seed, will make some noise, but they will be in a tougher conference next season. But they will have quarterback Quinn Ewers back, so they could be dangerous next year. But this isn't the Big 12 anymore, and you're going to be playing a lot better competition. But for my number 10 seed, I have Washington, and a lot of people probably don't have them here because they are losing a bunch of super seniors, but I think they will be good enough to get here, and they are my last Power 5 school to make the 12-team playoffs, and I think Kalen DeBoer is one of the most underappreciated coaches in college football, and he will keep this team near the top, but I could be wrong. But for my number 11 and my number 12 seed, I have Group of 5 schools, Boise State and Tulane. Tulane seems like an obvious choice. They've been at the top of the American for a while now, and they will definitely be a playoff contender next year. But I also have Boise State because this team has a lot of positives going for them into next season. They just picked up 5-star quarterback Malachi Nelson, but even before they got him, I was high on this team. And they got some guys returning next year, and they should be good on both sides of the ball, and I think they will be the best Group of 5 team. It feels weird to have 2 Group of 5 teams in, but that's just how the format is right now, which kind of sucks. But the format could end up changing, and I hope it does. But we'll see. But I like what I've seen from this Boise State team to end the season, other than their loss to UCLA in the bowl game, but I expect them to be a lot better next season. But let's get into my first round predictions for the 12-team playoffs. And the top 4 teams, Georgia, Ohio State, Alabama, and Oregon, will not play in round 1 because they would have bye weeks. But the first game we have is the number 5 seed Arizona playing the number 12 seed Tulane. This game will be played at Arizona's home field, so these on-campus side games should be awesome to see. And I expect Arizona to win this game by 2 touchdowns. And Arizona will be legit next year, and this will kind of be a mismatch for Tulane. But the next game is number 6 Clemson playing at home against number 11 Boise State. And I have Clemson winning this game by 2 scores just like Arizona. I think Boise State will be good, but not good enough to beat a team that I believe will be a lot better next year. So I have Clemson winning. But the next first round matchup is number 7 Ole Miss versus number 10 Washington. And I have Ole Miss also winning this game by 2 scores at their home field. And for the last first round matchup, we have a game that could be a spectacular matchup with number 8 Michigan playing number 9 Texas at Michigan's home field. And I have Texas winning this game by 7 and pulling off the upset. But here we go. Let's move on to the second round, which will be the start of the New Year 6 bowl games. We got the number 9 seed Texas playing the 1 seed Georgia. And I have Georgia winning this game by 1 possession and moving on to the semifinals. The next game is number 2 Ohio State playing number 7 Ole Miss. And I actually have Ole Miss pulling off the upset and winning by like 3 points, I'd say. Don't ask me why, but I just feel like this Ole Miss team will be really good next year. And these are the type of games Ohio State likes to lose. But for the next game, we got the number 6 seed Clemson playing the number 3 seed Alabama. And I have Alabama winning by at least 20. Clemson will be good next year, but they won't be a very scary team. And Alabama will be a very scary team. They have Jalen Milroe returning, and they will be loaded with talent next season, and Nick Saban will be on a mission. But for the last playoff game of the second round, we got number 5 Arizona playing number 4 Oregon. And I have Oregon winning by 10. I really like this Arizona team, but Oregon is going to be scary next year. And they brought in another veteran quarterback in Dillon Gabriel. And they also got a top 5 recruiting class, and they have guys on both sides of the ball returning next season. And they have an amazing head coach in Dan Lanning. Arizona will not quite be ready for this big matchup, so give me Oregon by 10. But on to the semifinals, we got number 7 Ole Miss versus number 2 Alabama. And I got Alabama by 7 in this game. I almost wanted to pick Ole Miss to pull off the upset, but that'd be reaching too much for this Ole Miss team. I really think they have potential to be dangerous next year, but it's still way too early to know. But for the next game, we got number 4 Oregon playing number 1 Georgia, and I have Georgia winning this game by 10. I think this Georgia team will be too much for Oregon, and they will be the better team all around, and Oregon will need another year to develop some of their young defensive guys, and Georgia will have a stacked team next year, and they will just be the better team than Oregon. But here we go. It's time to predict the 2025 National Championship between Alabama and Georgia. And I promise I did not plan for this to happen, and I don't know how I did this, but it just happened to be Georgia versus Alabama. But I guess I got to go with Alabama to win what would be the third matchup against Georgia in that same season if they were to play in the SEC Championship like I do have them playing. And then I have them playing in the rematch in the National Championship. And I have Bama winning by only 3. I really hope this isn't what happens, but we got a long way to actually know what will happen. But I'm excited for the start of the 12-team playoffs, and it should be fun. And I know there's going to be a ton of people disagreeing with me, which is completely fine. But you guys should let me know in the comments below who you guys think will make the playoffs next season. And I will not take your predictions way too seriously because it is way too early to be predicting this, but I'm doing it anyways. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I put a lot of work into this video and it was a fun one. And it may have not been perfect, but I tried my best. But let me remind you guys to like the video and subscribe to the channel. And also turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. And if you guys love college football, then you will love this channel because we post daily college football content. And we basically cover everything on this channel, so definitely consider dropping a sub. And I mean, come on now, we are already doing predictions for the 12-team playoffs next season when we have the national championship game of this season being played tonight. So we are really putting in the work for you guys in these videos. And I haven't really seen anybody else do a prediction like this yet, but I could be wrong. But it will be very interesting to see which teams people have making the playoffs next season. But I hope everyone enjoys the national championship game between Michigan and Washington tonight. And I will have a video out tomorrow reacting to the game, so be sure to tune in for that video. But anyways, that's going to do it guys, and peace out.